Today I want to speak about two topics. First, Italian injustice, Italian sporting injustice, and then going towards Ottolini that could become, according to reliable sources, the new sporting director of Juventus Football Club. What are the expectations to the name Marco Ottolini? We speak about that and much more in today's video. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I know that it's extremely trendy at the moment to speak about a mediocre Juve that is not anymore what it used to be in the past, with mediocre players. After identifying Allegri as the problems, Allegri out. After identifying Thiago Motta as the problem, Thiago out. We are now surfing on the trendy hot hashtag Tudor out. Comoli is put in doubt after speaking about Cristiano Giuntoli, the ownership, etc, etc. Not a single thing is going well according to Juventini. Within a side, I can understand, because Juventini that are living by the motto vincere non è importante, è l'unica cosa che conta, winning is not important, it's the only thing that matters. Well, when you're looking at our trophy cabinet in the last few years, it's true that victory is a word that is quite little in the Bianconeri world, and on that one I totally agree. But pay attention, I warned you, I told you. When 2 years ago I saw a lot of Juventini celebrating a plea deal found by Juve, accepting a -10 and also accepting to not participate to any single European competition, I told you, yes, I know that you are now happy that we can focus only on the field, but pay attention, because the impact of such a decision, well, you will feel it in the next few years, and here we are. We already spoke about all these topics, I already warned you, so why am I coming back on that? Because since yesterday in Repubblica, that is a really big, important, not only sporting page in Italy, they were leaking some conversations between management of Napoli, reported, because that's the content of La Guardia di Finanza, the financial police, if you want to call it like that or translate it like that, about the investigation on the Osimhen case, a case that has already been closed by the sporting justice, but not yet in the civil justice in Italy. We come back on all of that in a second, after you, of course, putting a maximum of like, continue to subscribe, because yes, I am angry, yes, I am not happy, I am furious, if you want to call it like that, because I see again injustice, because I see again two different treatments, and it's not the first time. I'm older than a lot of you that are watching that channel, and my memory is still working, so I know that it's not the first time that you are seeing things like that. So what happened yesterday? Leaked conversation where you see some discussions between management of Napoli. Back then we were speaking about Pompilio, we were speaking about De Laurentiis, we were speaking about Cristiano Giuntoli and more, that when speaking about that Osimhen case, they were saying clearly, don't write anything on paper. Don't leave any trace in emails. Pay attention. If you want to speak about value, etc., etc., do it only verbally. We are hearing the president of Napoli saying, oh, forget about it. 70 million, never. 70 minus 20, speak about it. Them saying in this conversation, hopefully, they will not accept our offer, because otherwise, hey, pay attention, we could have really troubles. What does all that thing mean now? That these leaked conversations are showing us that they were absolutely aware that dealing like that for the Osimhen case was something that was not 100% correct. They were aware about it, and when some anti-Juve people, and even Juve people, are telling me, Beppe, Juventus has been penalized, has been punished and judged because there were clearly leaked conversations, and the other clubs, even if you have the doubt, well, there was nothing. Well, today we see that these conversations existed and that they were found. So why? Why were they not judged when they had the opportunity to reopen the case, to put everything in order? Because I know it's not a trendy topic and we are not speaking about Mercato, but it's something I'm obliged to do, to speak about that. What happened? Well, Osimhen goes for 70 million euro from Lille, France, to Napoli, Italy. It's a player that is there for 70 million, but not all cash. 50 million euro cash, plus 4 players on top of the goalkeeper Carnesis, that was the third goalkeeper of Napoli. They have added young players, Liguori, Manzi, and Palmieri. 3 players that you will never hear about anymore, especially not on football side, because they never went one to Lille, and because they didn't do a football career. But players that were evaluated in terms of money, 4 million for each of the first two players, 7 million for Palmieri. A lot, for players that not even went to Lille. For players that never had one career in football, one of them became even a pizzaiolo. To put everything in order, what happened? Well, it's clear. We were judged in court years ago with a lot of other clubs, included Napoli, about a possible plusvalenza profit case, where we were acquitted, all the clubs, because they didn't find, because it's difficult, because it's impossible to put a clear value on a player. By the way, since the Juve case, it's not that they found a new law. Well, we are still at the same laws as in the past. They closed all the cases. Nobody was guilty. Great. But they reopened the case for Juve. For what reason? Because they found new evidences. Because you cannot reopen for the same motive, the same case. They found something else. They found an alternative to reopen the case to judge only Juve without judging all the other players. Kine. What did he say back then? Well, guys, maybe the prosecutors of Torino, because you have different prosecutors by city, well, maybe they are working extremely well. Maybe they have information that other ones they are not able to find. If there were other information about other clubs, if I receive them, I will look at it. By the way, Torino prosecutors, they were not even aware, or they were not even able to judge the case of Juve, but that's a different story. Anyway, at a certain moment, ragazzi, about the Osimhen case, we were all aware that something was fishy, something was not correct, something was strange. All of us, the first ones, the Juventini, that were actually doing the job of what the prosecutors of Roma should have been done, investigating on something that was strange. Where are these players? What happened to the values of these players? How come we are hearing all these stories? While De Laurentiis continue to say publicly, fooling all the Juventini, probably we won less trophies than we expected because we have always been honest. Well, honest until today, when we hear the conversations. Now, what they are telling us when the leaked conversations are public, but they are not the same as Juve. We couldn't do anything because, ragazzi, in April they had the opportunity to reopen the case also for Napoli, but they decided, Giuseppe Chinè, to close the case. So Napoli will not anymore being able to be judged by the sporting justice in Italy. Now they are at the civil justice in Italy, which is totally different. It's not linked to Lega, it's not linked to Serie A, to Federazione Italiana Gioco Calcio, for another motive. But back then, when they had these evidences of the leaked conversation between the management of Napoli, well, they didn't move, they didn't do anything. What are we hearing today? Well, that Napoli was absolutely aware that something was wrong with it, and they even said, pay attention, if we need to do these kind of things, don't write anything on paper because it could be really dangerous for us. Now, speaking about the case of civil justice, it could be, because at the moment they are innocent, don't forget about that, until judged guilty they are innocent, like I wanted Juventus to be treated. Well, in case they are found guilty for false accounting, they could have some problems. Now, my questions are, what if they are found guilty? What is happening with the sporting justice in Italy that said, we have nothing to do with it. No, everything was okay for Napoli. The only one to be blamed is Juve. Question mark. Why such treatment difference for Juve and all the other clubs? And I'm referring to a lot of things, not only injustice, but also on the media. For example, the ultra case of Inter and Napoli, if you are comparing it with Juve. How we finish on the first pages, etc., etc. The articles to defend some clubs and to actually blame others, because Juventus is always blamed on the first page in huge. If today you are opening the first pages in Italy, not a single page is speaking about what happened yesterday, what was leaked in Repubblica. The only page that speaks about it is Tuttosport. Slightly, they have an article inside, and then you saw yesterday immediately a Gazzetta dello Sport going to defend Napoli, in explaining not why Napoli could be in difficulty about the civil justice, why, for example, Napoli did wrongdoings. No. They go with, attention, it's not the same case as Juve, and there will be another judgment in court for the sporting justice. Attenzione, really, really strange how they are dealing with the difference. Why Juve immediately was penalized while we were playing with a minus 15 for a few months before a plea deal of minus 10. Why in Fast and Fury, like it happened also with Calciopoli, because Juventus has been judged sent in Serie B, while for the other ones there were no leaked tapes. These leaked tapes came out the day where they went in prescrizione, Inter, where you couldn't attack them anymore because it was too old. These cases, strange, really, really, really strange. How can you believe in sporting justice? That's my big question today. What is the conclusion? Well, if they want to find something to punish Juventus, they will find it. It happened with Calciopoli, it happened with the Plusvalenza case. They are a prime example of that. When there is the opportunity, well, they will destroy us and they will close an eye on the other ones. Would Napoli, and that's a huge big question, would Napoli have won that Scudetto without Osimhen? Big question mark. We are speaking about top scorer in Serie A back then. And what about the Juve in that same season without all the troubles, the Plusvalenza case, all the minus 15, the mental problem that has been really, really difficult? Probably Napoli would have deservedly win it as well. But it's a question that today I don't know. And I will tell you even more. What about today? Would have Napoli been able, without all these Osimhen case and these strange things, if they would have been punished, to be able to continue to build a team that is able to continue to compete for a Scudetto, to be the strongest one on or in Italy? Would Conte have been there? Big question mark. What about Juve? Without a minus 15, without a minus 10, maybe today, well, Sule would still have been at Juve. Maybe Giuntoli would not have come to Juve. We don't know. We really don't know all the impact that it would have had. That's why I'm first today. Anyway, we spoke about it already too much. So let's go towards the second topic of the video. Ottolini, direttore sportivo, e piace anche Norton Coffee. So Ottolini could become the sporting director, and pay attention because Norton Coffee is also liked by Juve. So where does that name come from? Ottolini, Marco Ottolini. Yesterday Fabrizio Romano spoke about it in a YouTube video in Italian, saying that Juventus is in advanced talks to appoint a new sporting director that is Marco Ottolini, sporting director of Genoa. Pay attention because he's making it to the shortlist. He's the favorite there. It's not a done deal yet. By the way, by inside information, I can already tell you that at Genoa, nobody thinks that he can leave immediately. He has a contract until the end of the year, and they are aware that he will probably not extend with them, but leaving immediately, they don't know about it. So will Juve really being able to go for the sporting director immediately now, or will they wait, or will they change name? These are all questions that we need to understand. Ottolini's career started actually as a player, as Brescia. When he stopped playing, he became a scout for Anderlecht, so close to where I live, where he did it for 3 seasons before going back to Juve, becoming a scout at Juve for 2 seasons, and then he was promoted, or he changed job, become actually the manager for the loaned players, so one that was observing all the loaned players all around, and then making a next step in 22-23, going to Genoa, that was in Serie B, going to them to become the sporting director. What he did since then? Well, he actually brought them from Serie B immediately back to Serie A, which is a really difficult exercise. Don't think that it's really easy. And from there, so from season 23, 24, 24, 25, and now this season, he was able to make from Genoa a mid-table team again, not anymore a relegation team. And that's already a huge, big victory in a few seasons, being able, like you can read online in some beautiful articles written, I believe on CBS, etc., by Francesco Porzio, that you can find from last year, some articles where you see his way of working since he's at Genoa, understanding that with limited budget, understanding how many players he had, how much he had to sell to actually work on a new project, he was able to combine data-driven activities, being able to work with a limited budget, but also preferring quality over quantity. So it's a man that knows how and what to do. Now, I know that a lot of people would have expected, as a sporting director, a huge big name. example alla Salihamidzic or other ones with proven records in huge big clubs. Well, let me tell you that first of all, the last name that we went on that already had proven records in a big club that was able to win a Scudetto was Giuntoli. It didn't really go too well. One, and that's important to know, one of the unknown sporting director to the match that was signed by Juve, Beppe Marotta from Sampdoria, did extremely well. So pay attention to where they are coming from and what they already accomplished, because that's a huge big difference. But on the other side, it's important also to understand that we need to forget about sporting director like we were used to, like Cristiano Giuntoli, onnipotero, which means all the power in his hands. This is the past. This is not how we will work now today. Forgetting about the Luciano Moggi that is still missed by a lot of Juventini, not all of us, but by a lot of Juventini. It's not a Iglitare at Milan, for example. This is not what Juventus is looking for, has been said black on white by Damian Comolli. So don't expect somewhat with huge, big proven records, let's say alla Monchi, if you like, or if you don't like the name Monchi or Salihamidzic, that has so many years of experience at big clubs that would suddenly come at Juve, because the role is different. What we are looking now, it's not a Cristiano Giuntoli that will do all the mercato, and if things are going well, we praise him. If things are going bad, we blame him. We're looking at someone that is reinforcing a sporting structure. So next to Giorgio Chiellini, François Modesto, next to Darren Burgess, they will be a sporting director. A sporting director with less freedom to do whatever he thinks, whatever he wants, but more an executive role. Someone that is taking the orders by Damian Comolli and is applying them, which is not always easy to be able to bring success to what actually has been worked on, planned. So in the future, if we want to blame someone, we need to blame the entire sporting direction. Comolli at head with Chiellini, Modesto, Burgess, and Ottolini if it's him. So that's really important to make that difference. And that's why names like Tognozzi that were ambitious, that wanted more freedom in the way of working, were never taken really seriously into consideration after hearing them a few times, because we were looking for someone in a different profile. Am I 100% convinced, satisfied, clear here promising you that Ottolini will bring us result? I cannot, because I don't want to focus too much on the name of Ottolini. I remember that when Cristiano Giuntoli arrived at Juve, I made dedicated videos like I did for Damian Comolli, because they were different personalities, different values of person, different in terms of what they would and would not decide, and the authority that they had, while for Ottolini, it will be a name, if it's him, that will reinforce an already existing sporting structure. So to me, it's different. Then, did he do good job at Genoa? Yes, he did. Not only with the result, but also with some beautiful names. Signed Retegui for 15 million euro. De Winter, Dragusin, Martinez, Vitinha from Marseille, Torsby, but also Norton Cuffy. Norton Cuffy that is linked now also with Juve. Is that his name for January? Probably not. But it's, of course, when you hear Ottolini linked to Juve, of course you are thinking about the one that is doing extremely well in a position where Juventus is lacking on the right wing back, because today Norton Cuffy, more than a right back, more than an offensive winger, is really a fifth player there or a fourth player there as a right wing back, which Juve is looking for. 21 years old, really great player. Juventus is monitoring him, is on him, and they were there in Marassi to watch him playing against Lazio. Unfortunately, they were not there yet, I think, against Napoli when he did that fantastic, beautiful dribble before that super assist and temporary 1-0 against Napoli. So Ottolini, would I go making dedicated video about him? At the moment, no. Because it's important to understand the role that he will have. So when you will watch super videos about he will change totally Juventus, calma ragazzi, calma Juventini. It's a long video. Actually, I could have done 2 different videos about it. First part, Napoli, injustice, sporting justice in Italy. Second part about Ottolini, sporting director, joining possibly. Maybe I can tell you, he will not arrive and not be announced the 7th of November. after that, probably. Anyway, that being said, if you enjoyed the video, please put a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Grazie, forza, Juve.